And when you do that, not only is your pursuit in terms of dating or finding a good mate for yourself gonna be more successful, it's also gonna be higher in terms of quality. And it'll be a deeper connection, and it'll be a connection that'll make you a better man. Namaste everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to make a short dating video, and this is just because I was remembering the first few days when I had launched myself on YouTube, and I remember that I used to make a lot of these dating videos which helped out a lot of you guys, whether it was the tips and tricks or the courses that we initially launched, how to get your ex-girlfriend back or how to get out of the friend zone and stuff like that. And a lot of you actually materialized results out of that. And then you would have seen that over time, my approach towards this whole subject started becoming more holistic in terms of perspective, the way I looked at the male and female spectrum of connection. And I thought that today I'll make a short video related to something on the same, because over time, for those of you who have been connected with the different stuff that I've put out, you guys have also started walking on the path of the free man, where you have started realizing other aspects of your life physically, because we've had so many stories come in of people who have either left a job, started their own business, or were able to accomplish a goal that they were never able to accomplish because maybe their mindset wasn't free, as we talk about, or what they were able to do for their parents, or even if you come to the dating scenario that somebody got back with their ex and is now going to get married, or somebody realized that he was running behind the wrong person and devaluing themselves, etc. So that's all great. Today I'm going to talk about something very small, but that's understanding that small nuance will really help you in restricting the amount of mental, emotional bandwidth that you give to all these different attractive mates in your life, because there's never going to be a lack of beautiful women coming across you, be it in the gym, be it at work, be it just in life, through family, while traveling, etc. And there's one thing which you guys have understood, which is the mindset of abundance, that you don't need to fixate on one person with whom you have no history, but just because you have an attraction towards that person, you start developing an entire scenario of the future in your head. And that's why you get attached to the picture of that attraction that you have, but it's still ultimately in your imagination. It's not actually physically materializing with that person. And rightfully so, because it has to be reciprocal in terms of effort and connection, and only then will you be able to come to that future vision. So getting rid of one-itis, or getting stuck on one girl and getting out of that kind of a thought process, is what you guys were able to accomplish with the mindset of abundance. And the second thing was where we spoke about giving before receiving, giving value before receiving value. But I am today going to round this into a very small mental trigger which happens, which gets triggered when you guys come across somebody attractive. So the mindset is one, and that is a passive state, right? It's continuous about abundance. But the second thing is impulse control. And impulse control is something which, if you can master with your own physicality, because it comes from the physical, like it comes from either the nervous system or the way we are hardwired and we want to respond to something, but it leads to a lot of mistakes. And the best example for that is, a lot of you guys tell me that I met this girl in the gym and I have been seeing her for a while and I was attracted, and then when I finally met her, I told her that blah 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 blah, and I think I made a mistake. Whether you told her that you like her, whether you said something else, but you think that it was a mistake, and then you ask me for the solution. Or that there's this girl in my college, I really want to talk to her, I really want to I think there is attraction between us, but like, what do I do? Now what happens is that, as I said, attractive people will keep coming across you. and for men especially, since the game in nature is about quantity compared to for women how it is quality. I think it is safe to say that a man loses out a lot of energy and that mental, emotional, etc. bandwidth that I spoke about when he starts actually acting on all these things. And how does he end up acting on all these things? It is when he gives in to the impulse to do something and takes an action. So I made a poster which was called Peace Principles for the Free Man, and I wrote down 10 principles which would bring peace and equilibrium to your state of mind if you read them first thing in the day and last thing at night. First thing in the day before you face the world, so that you're ready for any kind of stimulus coming your way but not being affected by it. And last thing at night, because if there is something which has messed with your head during the day, it'll again sort it out. And another thing that I wanted to speak about was power principles. That how does a man accumulate power and how does he become a powerful man? And I don't mean in the sense of money or society or social hierarchy. I mean in his own state of mind. And one of my power principles is definitely going to be to take time before you take action. And what do I mean by that? When you come across that girl, there's a beautiful girl on Instagram, you find out, oh shit, she's in my city. Let me send her a DM. Stop your fucking stupid ass over there. All right? Because giving in to that impulse is what causes you to start getting invested in the thought or idea or whatever it is related to that attraction. And it takes up your energy and your bandwidth. And what happens is that like this, you start getting caught up in then wondering what response you're going to get. Wondering, okay, I'm taking action, but then what is the best thing to do? Which is not wrong, because sometimes, in life, you will come across someone who you don't want to miss out the opportunity to interact with. So that is completely fine. So I'm not saying don't take action with everyone. What I'm saying is control your impulse and recognize when impulsivity is striking you, because it will strike you when you get exposed to a stimulus. And when you get exposed to a stimulus like a hot girl in the gym who's doing these booty squats and now you want to get into that booty, just make sure that you are not immediately acting upon that moment, because you are bound to make a mistake. And I'll tell you why. Because most of us who are trying to understand the scenario of dating are guys who are young. And when they are young, they don't understand that it might be sometimes better to approach the landscape of dating with practicality and rationality, or at least have those attributes active in your thought process before you take an action. Because what happens is that you take an action straight away upon such a stimulus, and then you don't really get a reaction. Most probably because your impulsive action was either too needy or desperate, or too head on, or something where it was an emotional response because of being impulsive. And in that you end up saying anything or doing anything, etc. But the thing is, women take up a lot of space inside the man's brain, all right? And the prospect of reproduction and that continuous pursuit of wanting to procreate, which is a natural urge or drive within us, which is all right. It's meant to be so. But for the realized man or the actualized man, he knows how to not give in to that urge or impulse. So if you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the bottommost come the most basic and carnal ones, such as hunger, shelter, and sex, and stuff like that. And as you get higher in terms of self-actualization, it is only possible to climb that pyramid if you are someone who's continuously identifying patterns of behavior and emotions, etc., that you are maybe stuck in or you are demonstrating out there in the world. So start being more aware of when an impulse strikes you, And second, hold on at that moment and don't take action, because this is really going to help you filter out the quality from all the quantity. It's going to help you filter out the quality, that okay, these are the things worth taking an action on, because others are just, that okay, I'm just attracted to the person because she has a nice physique or a body, but is she a nice person? Maybe not. And you end up saving yourself from investing too much time and effort and resources in pursuing women, because if you do end up climbing higher on that state of towards that state of either realization or actualization, which obviously none of us are at yet, but it is a pursuit worth pursuing, you don't want to be distracted or diverted from that by too many tits and asses around you. Because there is no lack of that distraction or stimulus being thrown at you, whether it is through Instagram girls, whether it is through Tinder, whether it is through the whole culture of dating and the casuality with which we look at it. So having lesser connections but more qualitative in nature is actually going to help you grow from these relations in ways which are outside just that domain of you two coming together and spreading stickiness in between your bodies. Fine, that's all right. Do that once in a while if you want to do, and the other person also wants to do it. But generally in your life, your perspective should be to take time before you take action, because that's going to allow you the space for critical reasoning, analytical reasoning, things which make men men. And you could use being a man as a strength rather than as a measure of desperation, because of which you go out and you try with everyone and you give value to everyone. And obviously the more you do this, the more your chances of rejection increase, and the more the chances of rejection increase, the more your self-esteem suffers, etc. So for guys who are young, this is my advice to you, that do not act upon impulse. Whether you're in college, whether you've just started earning your bread and you have moved to a new city and are so happy with your freedom and new apartment that you're sharing with someone but away from parents, and now you want to bang a new girl every weekend or something like that, it's stupid. And it's stupid because it's a waste of who you are as well as your time. And all of that could be much better used for walking on all the parallel paths that the free man ideology sets for you guys. Whether it's the concept of unvas, or having a purpose, or accumulating value through expanding your perspective and mindset and sense of who you are, as well as your consciousness, and a bunch of other things which you might not understand now. But just because you don't understand something right now, if you have at least understood its worth, you should be taking steps to reach that understanding. And that's only going to happen when, in the limited 24 hours in the day, or the limited brain capacity, emotional capacity, etc., that you have at the current stage of life that you are in right now, you value it more than anything else, and you preserve it. And upon preserving it, you spend it very wisely in the right direction. And when you do that, not only is your pursuit in terms of dating or finding a good mate for yourself gonna be more successful, it's also gonna be higher in terms of quality. And it'll be a deeper connection, and it'll be a connection that'll make you a better man. And that's what I want you to start focusing on when it comes to the way we react when we see an attractive woman. Think upon all those levels, because that thinking will take time. But you see her and you go like, oh my God, I've learned these things from Sirhud, so boom, let me take action right now. Do you really need to take action with every attractive girl that you see? That's what I want you to think about. Done.